Hello my beautiful friends, it's Amanda here, and today we're talking about a new palette from Nomad Cosmetics. This one is inspired by the Hudson Valley in New York and all of the beautiful fall foliage. I'm so excited. I love fall. I love it. This is not news to anyone, especially if you follow me over on the Makeup.Just.For.Fun Instagram. I have been talking about fall for at least a month now, and I have mentioned in many other palette review videos that anytime there is even the whiff of a fall theme, I'm gonna buy it. I'm a sucker for fall. I love eyeshadow palettes, I love fall themes, I love warm toasty colors, so you can probably guess my initial feelings about this palette. The Hudson Valley palette will be launching on Tuesday, September 20th, and it should be priced at $39. The other palettes this size are $39 US each. So my guess is this will be the same. I have two eye looks for you with this palette. I'm also going to show you a bunch of swatches. First, let's just take a close-up look at this Hudson Valley palette and its packaging, and then we'll get into the swatches and some tutorials. First of all, let's just get this out of the way. This packaging is so deliciously beautiful. I want to eat it. I know that sounds weird, but just this luscious, toasty orange and red is so pretty. It's so cozy. I just feel like it's a painting that I want to be inside of. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but I really, really like that feeling. It's like a cozy blanket wrapped around me every time I look at this packaging. Is that maybe a little bit too much feelings for an eyeshadow palette packaging? I don't think so, but you know what? I've been doing this job for too long. And I think I am starting to personify my makeup a little bit too much. But anyway, moving on. This palette is marked as cruelty-free and vegan. Standard for Nomad Cosmetics, but I think that's especially interesting given the amount of reds in this palette, because we do see a lot of reds not being vegan. So this is all vegan, baby, and I'm excited to report that to all my vegan friends here. We do have mostly mattes in this palette. There are 12 mattes and 3 shimmer shades in that center column. Also typical of Nomad palettes, we have these really cute little prints on each one of the powders. And I do have video of this palette before I went in and swatched it and used it. So go check out Makeup.Just.For.Fun on Instagram. Or I also have some over on my TikTok, which is Real Makeup.Just.For.Fun, in case you want to see this palette before I swatched it up. Now let's take a look at some swatches of this palette. I want to show you both finger and brush swatches of all the shadows in here. Finger swatches are on top and then brush swatches are directly below. I swatched this palette in 2 halves just so that I wasn't cramming all of the swatches in all at once. This way you can really see what they look like on the skin, what the different application methods look like without being too crammed in and jumbled up. Also, this palette is pretty distinctly divided between a red, orange, yellow side and then a more cool / neutral greens and neutral tones side. So it was a pretty easy way to split up the 2 different color stories. I think the addition of these cooler tones, neutral tones, and greens really helped to round out the palette. And not only does it give a more complex set of looks that you can get, but it also just makes a lot of sense as far as fall tones go. It's not all about the leaves, right? We also have these other fall shades that are a little bit more murky, and I really like that the whole fall vibe is encompassed between these 2 different sides of this Hudson Valley palette. Now that you've seen the palette close up, you've seen the swatches, I want to show you 2 different eye looks using this Hudson Valley palette. And as we go along, I'll give you all my thoughts on this one. That way you can see these shadows in action and you can hear my review at the same time. Okay, so obviously I love the palette packaging. It is just beautiful. I've already waxed poetic about that, so I'm not going to talk about that too much more, but just know as far as the pros and cons of this palette goes, packaging is just an absolute 10 out of 10 for me. I love it. I love what they've done with the little printed powders as usual. It's beautiful, it's stunning. It's giving me everything I want out of a palette. I also really like how balanced the shades in here are. I love that we have more warm tones, but really it's almost an even split, warmer, cooler slash just neutral undertones, and that it's not all this one note warm orange take on a fall palette, but it really has a complexity, and there are so many different great looks that can come out of this palette. I can see this being an all seasons eyeshadow palette. The formulas are just absolutely beautiful, high performing, not just in swatch, but also as far as using them on the eye goes. These are easy to blend. They stay true to color. I'm not getting a bunch of muckiness as I blend and layer the different shades, especially for a really matte palette. I'm just incredibly pleased with the pigmentation, the blendability, the wear time. Absolutely no complaints formula wise. I do think this is up there with some of their best as far as palette formulas go. There is one thing that I personally would change about this palette. I wish that there were 2 more shimmers in here. I don't even need a fully even split mattes and shimmers, which is usually my personal preference. I just want 2 more shimmers. I want one that's lighter. I would love to see, instead of that cream colored, bone colored matte shade, I would love to see a silver shimmer there. And I would like to see one deeper shimmer. So one of the matte shades, Bed and Breakfast or Farm to Table, I would like to see one of those shades as a shimmer as well, just because the 3 shimmers that we got, while they are beautiful, they are all on the lighter mid-tone type of spectrum, and I would love to see a little bit of a smokier shimmer in here, and then something that's more of like a brightening highlight type of shade. I think that would really make this just an unstoppable, perfect palette for me. Everybody already has a light creamy bone matte colored shade probably 10 times over in their collections, and I do think that the 2 deeper mattes, Bed and Breakfast and Farm to Table, end up looking pretty similar once they're applied to the skin. They look more different in the pan than they do once they're actually applied to the skin, so I could stand to lose one of those 2, and then that little off-white matte shade, which is, pretty redundant in most people's collections. Visually, the whole palette looks absolutely beautiful and balanced as is, but just in practice, I think that those shades could have been tweaked a little bit for me. Otherwise, I have to say I am incredibly impressed by a couple of these really difficult shades in here, particularly this really bright matte red that you see me applying to my eye now, and the bold matte yellow. These are 2 shadows that typically are very, very difficult to formulate well, and they are both done exquisitely in this palette. I can't tell you how much this formulation has exceeded my expectations. I've swatched so many red matte shades that were dry and patchy and didn't stick to the eye and ended up looking pink once they were applied, and these shades have just blown my mind. The same with the yellow. Yellow mattes tend to be quite dry and quite hard to get a creamy opacity, and these are just so well done. Other than wanting to add a little couple extra shimmers in there, this palette is just so close to being a perfect fall palette, at least for me. I love that it is bold and muted, warm and cool. It has such an interesting dichotomy as far as the color story goes, and I just can't sing its praises enough. This is a phenomenal palette from Nomad. Probably no surprise that I just absolutely love this palette. Of course, there are just a couple little things that I would change. I would like to see just a little bit more shimmer in here. But overall, I love every single look I've done with this. The swatches are unreal. The shadows are perfectly soft, but not so soft that they're hard to work with. It's a really good palette. I know I just said that the Provence palette was the best Nomad palette. I think this one might be my favorite even more. Provence is a close second because, you know, this doesn't have any purple and you know how much I love purple eyeshadow, but ooh, I really, really, really like this one. I think this is my #1 Nomad palette now. It's close, but this is really beautiful. Now's the time when I want to hear what you think about this palette. Are you going to pick it up? Are you excited for this one? Are you obsessed with fall like I am? Also, what is your favorite Nomad palette? Because they have so many really good palettes. I would struggle to rank them. I don't have all their palettes. I have a fair few, and I would struggle to rank the ones that I have because they are just consistently really nicely packaged, really great formulas, interesting colors. So I want to hear your thoughts on what your favorites are, or if you have a few, how would you rank them? I always love to hear what you think about things too, so make sure you leave all your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Matching nails, you know I had to do it. Oh, I really need to clean my brushes. Be better than me. Clean your brushes more often than I do. My little fall leaves over here. Got out all my fall decor. I'm ready. I'm ready. Do you think it's hard to grow pumpkins? Maybe I can turn my whole yard into a pumpkin patch. Something to look into. This red matte shade is so intense and amazing. I had to use it. Oktoberfest. I'm going to an Oktoberfest. I'm really excited. Will I be dressing up? Absolutely. Yeah, I will. I will. I had to wear my little fall foliage earrings. These are just my favorites. Hold on, I'll show you a close-up. I make these for my Etsy shop. Aren't they so cute? I only have a couple left of each style. I'll make some more though. If you go and look for them and they're sold out, just keep an eye out because I will restock these. I have some more of these little leaf beads, so I'll make more. I need like 2 more shimmers. That's it. That's all. Just like 2 more. Now that you've seen the... What the heck was that? Now that you've seen the... That's not even a hard thing to say. Nailing it. Okay, I'm fine. Ugh, this cover art's so pretty. I want to live inside of this palette. I think Hudson Valley might be a little bit too cold for me. I don't really want to deal with like frigid snow. It was too cold. Winter in Virginia was too cold, so I know going more north than that is going to be too cold for me. But I do love the leaves. I was like, you know what? Just put a fall leaf on my eyeball. That's the look I was going for. And you know, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. And a red like this that's vegan? Wow. Cruelty-free and vegan. Good for you. Good for you, Nomad. Good for you. Alright, I'm gonna go edit this video, hopefully to get it out before the launch. And I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it was helpful, and I hope you have a great day. And I hope that you find something that brings you as much joy as fall leaves bring me. Whatever it might be. Whatever it is. You know why you deserve it? Because you're awesome and I love your face. And I'll see you soon. Okay. Bye.